everyone. Welcome to the Orthodontic Products Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Warner. Today I have with me Ren Menon, president and co-founder of OrthoFX. With over 20 years of experience in the clear aligner industry, including as global head of product and innovation at Invisalign for over a decade, Ren launched OrthoFX to innovate the aligner space. He's here to talk about OrthoFX's latest innovation, its NiTime clear aligners, which changed the game when it comes to patient wear. Ren, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Allison. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Great. Well, to get started, I introduced you a bit there, but can you give our listeners a little more on your background in orthodontics and the clear aligner industry?
Oh, absolutely. Is it okay if I covered my team also?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So OrthoFX was founded in 2018 from a founding day perspective, but a lot of the thought around OrthoFX and the problems that we were solving have been percolating in the industry since the very advent of this industry and since 1997. The team that I have is pretty much the team that built a lot of the foundational technologies in the space, starting with the polymers. Log Fan is the inventor of the aligner polymer and also the inventor of the most used polymer in the category and the present generation polymer used by other brands, a trilaminate aligner material, which goes by brands like Zendura, FLX, and things like that. So he's my co-founder. My other co-founder, Henry Chan, is the software pioneer that enabled a lot of things that is taken for granted today in this industry, including how you visualize a treatment plan moving from end to end, also called ClinCheck by a brand name, if you may. But that capability, the combination of these two capabilities, the polymer and the software, enabled this industry. And we decided to come together in 2018 to create the next big step change in the category that we felt was needed, which we will get into. NiTime is the example or the manifestation of that thought. But that's the team behind this. There are several others. Collectively, we have about 200 years of R&D experience, product development, and product launch experience. It's a true team of insiders and innovators behind OrthoFX.
Great. So you mentioned that we're going to talk about NiTime, but OrthoFX launched in 2019, correct? So what were you looking to bring to the space at that point?
Yeah, so OrthoFX launched, we were founded in 2018. Our first polymer got our approval in 2020. So in general, we wanted to bring about three changes, Allison. The first change that we wanted to do was to improve the polymer substantially to address the two unmet needs. One is predictability. Treatments were not tracking to the plan. You will see these plans on the 3D software, but in reality, those plans will not ever end up there in the promised time and also will require a number of reboots. It created significant disruptions for the practice. An article published by AJODO by Dr. Neil Kravitz shows that 94% of treatments require some form of a reboot or a refinement. So it's one of the lack of predictability is one of the founding unmet need that we are trying to solve. The second thing that we were solving for is fitness or fitment within the patient's lifestyle. Yes, aligners are a significant improvement over braces, but the fact that you have to wear it for 22 hours a day, and very unnatural for people to do that. People want to wear the aligner as minimally as possible. Ideally, we could invent a pill that you could take and then suddenly the teeth would get straight. Perfect. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not there. The best option that we have is an aligner that you can wear minimally, and also something that stimulates the biology of the bone to be able to accommodate that lessened wear time. So predictability, need for compliance-friendly solution, and three, the need for an all-in-one solution where orthodontists can get all their needs addressed. For example, the need for financing, the need for remote monitoring, all that addressed from a single login and a single patient list. These are the three things that we wanted to invent in the world and we wanted to bring. We started with parts of it in 2020. with completing our rounded out portfolio in 2023 with the launch of NiTime at the AAO meeting in New Orleans earlier this year.
Okay, so let's talk about NiTime clear aligners. This aligner is different from others on the market. Can you talk about those innovations that make it unique?
Oh, absolutely. So this is the first and only aligner system that is FDA cleared for 9 to 12 hours of wear, compared to traditional aligners that require up to 22 hours. Many of them are required, some patients are required to wear it 24 hours. And as I was sharing earlier, Allison, just a big disruption in somebody's lifestyle. So this shorter wear time allows people to eat, drink, talk hassle-free like we are doing right now. If you're wearing a traditional aligner, you lisp. It also creates the traditional aligner because of its design, because of the excessive forces it exerts up front. Traditional aligners exert a lot of force up front, and almost all the force disappears within 3 days. This means that those forces are really loaded up front, which means that patients have to endure a lot of pain. Many of them are on what is called a Tylenol diet the first few days as they get used to the aligner. So we wanted to make sure that these things are addressed with the NiTime aligner. And the way we are doing it, as you correctly point out, is through product differentiation. It is through a patented hyperelastic polymer with air shell technology. And this design is created to produce sustained optimal forces throughout the duration of the wear compared to the other aligners used in the category.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about that hyperelastic polymer and how that works? And then we'll talk about the air shell polymer separately.
Yeah, no, I'd be delighted to. So if you look at the hyperelasticity is a property where stress and strain remain consistent over long distances. So in other words, it's not linearly or exponentially progressing like you would experience with a garden spring where you stretch it more. It creates more stress, and then it gives out. What is needed is a flat curve on the stress strain curve, or a material that do not obey the Hooke's law, which says that stress and strain are linearly proportional for some materials. So our intention or desire was to design a polymer that disobeys Hooke's law, and hyperelasticity is a function of that behavior, as displayed by the NiTime wire in the braces world. So it is it basically the aligner adjusts to the natural position of the tooth movement, and even in cases of slight deviation from plan, where it can deviate the stress strain curve, it is still able to exert the same force throughout the duration of the movement that is required from that aligner. So if you think about the construction of the aligner, this is also where we have close to 150 patents in different aspects of this aligner manufacturing, Allison, right from the design of the polymer to the manufacturing process that is involved. So the aligner itself has a flexible inner shell that is designed to follow the teeth closely. Think of it like a food wrap, if you may. It fits the teeth perfectly. That way it's always engaged, which also means that you need fewer attachments, which is another benefit of this aligner. And then there is a harder outer shell, which is made with a different polymer blend, and the aligner is just bonded at the edges at strategic points with a pocket of air in between, acting as a flexible transmission mechanism of that force. So air accommodates the air moves to accommodate the shape of the tooth or where the deviation is, but at the same time maintains a constant pressure. That way the teeth that is moving respective of the position it's in is able to always get that same constant force throughout the movement of that aligner. So this technology is what we call hyperelasticity, and the resulting property then creates a biologically friendly mechanism of tooth movement, which then allows the aligner to deliver the same results with far fewer hours of wear versus what is done with competition.
Okay. Okay. And so now can you talk about that air shell polymer? You mentioned it a little bit there, but how does that compare to a traditional clear aligner material?
Yeah, so if you think of a traditional clear aligner material, think of it as a single shell where it has multiple polymers stacked together, but at the end of it, it's still a single shell, if you may, like like this, like this, and then
So
it's
just for the
formed
people
into
who
an
are listening,
aligner.
you're holding up like a piece of paper. So it's like
Oh,
flat
yes,
altogether.
yes. I'm holding a piece of paper, and yes, and these papers are all fused. It's all fused together into a single sheet of paper,
Okay.
and it's the entire force is distributed on that one surface, as opposed to what we have done, and the property that it's able to deliver is limited to that one surface. What we are able to create is an infinite number of possibilities because we use a flexible inner shell for contact or fit, and a force producing outer shell, which then uses air, which is what creates these infinite force point. And I would say infinitely optimized force points, because each point has only the required force and no more, because the outer shell is maintaining the memory of what the force should be, with the air acting as a conductor. So this is where the multi-shell design is revolutionary and path breaking in its ability to deliver just the right forces for each point to every tooth to make sure that we're stimulating the right biological mechanism within the body.
Okay. So what specific malocclusions can nighttime aligners treat, and can it handle complex cases?
Oh, absolutely. You should have seen our case presentation at the AO meeting where two of our KOLs showed some very impressive cases, including some surgical cases,
Mm.
some cases of all complexity and different indications opened by deep bite class 2s. It is able to handle a wide range of cases.
Mhm.
This is not just me saying it, but also you can look at the results. And also, this is also FDA has cleared us based on a study that we did with over 6,000 data points that showed that the treatment indeed is efficacious over a wide range of cases. So our clearance is for all indications and for all teeth. So yes, it can handle everything from the most complex, the longest treatment, to the extremely simple.
And then, patients are wearing this for less time, but is there any impact on the time in treatment?
No, absolutely not. So that's
Okay.
something that we were really keen on our design parameters, Allison, because an easy way out would have been to slow the velocity of the teeth movement
Mhm.
and then try this aligner saying half the movement, so wear it half the time. I'm sorry, but that approach, the body doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
That is a failed approach that was employed by some DTC companies, which is an
Mhm.
absolute irresponsible way to go about
Mhm.
this innovation. Um, with us, the treatment velocities are the same. You can test this out yourself if you're a doctor by you can switch out the polymer even at the last step where you approve the treatment plan.
Mhm.
You can go from one polymer variation to the other at the same velocity. So it'll be the treatment plan as it was originally. There's no change to the treatment duration because you change the polymer. So no, the change is not by changing the treatment velocities, but by changing the very mechanics of how aligners move teeth. We stimulate bone biology differently to be able to create a shorter treatment time, which is foundationally and fundamentally different versus how competition approaches teeth movement.
Okay. And then when it comes to treatment planning, what is the orthodontist experience and how does technology play in that process?
This is a great question because if you think about aligners, I was just yeah, I use this analog with my team all the time. It's like if you think of treatment plan, that's kind of like the playbook,
Mhm.
and the polymer is the player, if you may. So just like you need both Bill Belichick and Tom Brady to win multiple Super Bowls,
Mhm.
you need both, and you can see individually they were not that great. So a treatment plan has to be designed and be a great complement to the polymer. So our treatment planning approach is based on we had the good fortune, Allison, to build our software platforms in the 2020s, where AI could be used as a foundational approach on how technology and data can be leveraged. So you can see, and many of our treatment options include a retainer, which we are using as a way to collect closed loop data. And then we are looking at the right patterns that results in the best outcome for any given scenario. So our treatment planning is initially guided by AI, where a certain treatment planning methodology is recommended. The design is then optimized by orthodontists, and then the treatment plan is completed and delivered to the doctor for their review, which means that when they see a treatment plan, they can hit accept on it the first time with minimal number of back and forths needed. But if back and forths are needed, we have the ability for them to do it themselves if they want to. We have access to 3D controls. And if you are just extremely savvy in your clinical or picky in your clinical philosophies, it includes CBCT integration and all the advanced tools that you need. If you're not, if you are preferring a simpler guided approach, we have options for that too, where you can turn on and off those features to be able to let us drive that or have you drive that. So we customize the interface based on your preference and your expertise.
Okay. So, what feedback have orthodontists and patients shared about the shorter wear time and kind of that overall experience with the nighttime clear aligners? I keep wanting to say nighttime clear aligners.
Yeah, I think the feedback has a couple of angles. One is the clinical angle of the feedback. I think in general, um, orthodontists, like, let's be honest, many of them leaned in with the mindset of, let me give it a try. I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I am pleased to report that 9 out of 10 orthodontists who have used our platform have continued to use it. Our churn rate on the orthodontist side, especially clinically minded orthodontists, have been very, very low. And you can look at the numbers on our refinements, unseats, it's a fraction of what the other industry players are offering today. Um, the other aspect that is interesting beyond the clinical aspect is the patient comfort and patient preference aspect. Um, 8 out of 10 patients, if you're presenting the 22-hour side by side with a 9 hour or a nighttime proposition, you are 8 out of 10 patients select the less wear time option. And here's the kicker: they're willing to pay up to 20% more for an aligner that they can wear fewer hours because it fits with their lifestyle.
Right.
So, what does that mean for the practice? It means offering a differentiated premium product to drive patients to just those offices,
Mm-hmm.
plus create more revenue per sale.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a clear winner, and we have data that shows doctor after doctor where if they're following this approach to selling, they're able to generate more revenue per sale than what they're doing today. Plus, more patients come to those practices. We've looked at the CAC, the cost to acquire a customer
Mm-hmm.
for this proposition versus others. And again, this is about a fourth versus what you are able to get with traditional aligners.
Okay.
So in general, if you have fewer refinements, fewer unplanned visits, an aligner that fits with your lifestyle, an aligner that patients love, it means that you're going to get more referrals and better CSAT ratings, which all translates into better practice growth while reducing your unplanned visits or improving your efficiency, which means better operating margins. So, yeah, this is, in my opinion, the way to think about this market as opposed to what has been happening, which is a race to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not the way to go about it. I keep repeating this. The key, I think price competition is the least creative and the laziest way to compete.
Okay.
Real original innovators compete on differentiation because they know the value that they bring to the practice or the value that they bring to the patient. And we are the perfect complement to a differentiated thinker, someone who's truly interested in practice growth through maintaining or increasing prices as opposed to competing with the practice down the street on price, not the creative way, and in long term, not the sustainable way for you to go, because that number can go down to zero, as you know. It's a race to the bottom. Do
Yeah.
not compete in that market, is my humble opinion.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So, how can doctors find more information about offering OrthoFX in their practice?
Uh, yeah, thanks for allowing me to do a plug, if you may. Uh, Doctors can find information about OrthoFX by visiting orthofx.com. There's the product information is included there, including some of the aspects of what I talked about. They can also sign up as a provider by choosing join our network option on the
Oh, okay.
website. You could also, yeah, it's a button that's just prominently there on the top right.
Yeah.
We're also on social media. For doctors, just visit our LinkedIn page and just send us a DM. We'll be able to take care of you, connect you to our training and onboarding team within 24 hours. Um, we're also on Instagram and Facebook if you would like to see the work that we are doing on there, because a lot of the work that we are doing there is repeatable. We can provide you access. When you become a member with us, you get access to a marketing library of assets, which then helps you create time relevant content that is proven and can generate traction. So all that's available to you as a part of our all-in-one philosophy.
Great. Well, I'm going to ask one more question because you brought up something there. The
Yeah,
onboarding
please.
and training. Onboarding and training. Can you talk a little bit about that experience for doctors who are joining with using this?
Oh, absolutely. We have our approach in general has been to make that as seamless and as easy as possible. Most of our orthodontists self onboard. They would be like, yeah, the button was here in that other platform, but that button is over here.
Yeah.
The reason we recommend the onboarding as not to get you started. You can start a patient and a treatment plan with no guidance. But if you want to discover the bells and whistles, if you want to really take advantage of the power features of the platform, that is where the onboarding helps. And usually it is done over a 1 to 2 hour meeting. We also try not to load up too many things because we have built a lot of things. It's very feature rich. We try to create a pathway where we are exposing a few relevant parts of the platform over meetings over a 90-day period, and then there's reinforcement. We are also a CE1 education provider, Allison. So if there is anyone interested in CE courses and things like that, we have it available online. That's also a capability that comes free and included with our platform.
Great. Well, Ren, thank you so much for joining me and for talking us through the NiTime aligner system. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And this was delightful. You made it so easy on me and so stress free. So I appreciate you doing that to me.
Oh,
Thank you for
good.
being kind.
Good, good. Well, look forward to having you back the next innovation. So thank you so much.
Indeed. Thank you so
As
much.
always, thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the Orthodontic Products podcast to keep up with the latest episodes. And be sure to check out orthodonticproductsonline.com to keep up with the latest industry news. Until next time, take care.